All right. Been looking forward to getting back. And part of the joy is really kind of selecting the topic, right? Episode, whatever. And I have so many things that I want to share. I have so many just questions that I want to throw out there, right? And hear your response, get your feedback. Part of the whole Sperling Circle concept is the connection. In 2020, with the pandemic and the shutdown of the world, it wasn't just going stir crazy. I was getting depressed. Beyond just the confines, the walls of our lot, our house, our backyard, um, and an occasional interaction with people on the outside. I missed what I love to do, which is to teach. And part of what I love most about teaching is just that connection, right? The idea of transference of knowledge, of energy, the discourse and the interactive dynamic of humanity growing, people learning. It's extremely exciting. It's part of what I just absolutely love about my job so much. So, take that away and replace it with Zoom where you're teaching. I mean, the whole 2020, 2021, those 2 years were just put an asterisk next to education. Like, not really sure what happened. I don't think anybody is really sure. We kind of just grinned, bared it, went through the motions, tried our best, uh, and I guess some gave up. I tried my best. And that's what I expect of myself. It's what I expect of my kids, my students. So, this is another way of connection. And a lot of what I'm talking about in any one episode is just me thinking aloud. And implicit is there's no like explicit call to action, like subscribe up here. I please do. Like follow, like be take that step and get connected. Um, Absolutely. And we build our circle, we build our community. But implicit in that connection and in the building of that is, what do you think? How do you see it? And what's your opinion? What's your take on this? So maybe I should start doing a kind of a call to action, just an awareness of the premise behind this, and what I always hope to achieve, no matter what topic I'm talking about. I'd like to talk about the videos that my students created um, just this last week. We came off of winter break. It's 2 weeks. I had my surgery at the beginning. Thought I'd be able to get back. My body needed a few more days to just heal. So I returned on a Thursday, and I told each class uh, the assignment I gave them for Monday through Wednesday to work on while I wasn't there was to answer this question in a video form, and how they put it together was completely up to them. I told them, be creative, be fun, be original, be insightful. You need a thesis statement, and you need a common theme. I recommended they work in teams of four. Usually they organically go to their friends or people that they sit with, have a bit more familiarity with to a certain extent. Um, but regardless, you're dealing with four different pathways, four different lives, four different, I don't know what I'm going to do, or maybe I have an inkling of what I'm going to do. So the question is or was, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right? They're 17 years old, some are 18, so 22, 23. If they go the community college route, that'll be 2 to 3 years. Then they transfer. So then add another two. So between 4 and 5 years, if they go straight into a 4 year, they've just graduated, or just kind of left college. If the community college route, then probably tack on another semester, another year. So anyway, you're at the beginning of your 20s, and if you don't know, the beginning of your 20s, as I recall it for me, just graduating college, it was fun time. It was like, okay, I've studied. Now I want to go play. I want to go like apply this knowledge. I want to, for me personally, I wanted to go explore the world. I wanted to go travel. Um, just really work on not finding yourself. I think that's such a gross misnomer. It's you are you under a rock like Patrick? It like, oh, there you are. And SpongeBob just cruising around like, oh, Patrick, you're under a rock. You don't find yourself. You create yourself. And so you really, right, in order to create yourself, I think you need to travel. I think you need to expand your perspective, your horizons, expand your bubble of knowledge. You need to learn more, and it's hands-on learning, and it's not just academia that you maybe experienced and now you have a degree. Great, but what's that paper going to do for you? Nothing, unless you apply that knowledge, unless you start focusing that energy to something. So that was the premise behind the assignment. And I thought it'd be a great way for all of us to just kind of reconvene, get back together after almost 3 weeks, uh, and physically easy on me to just be able to sit there, stand, whatever I needed to do, and watch videos. Um, I had decided that I was going to tell them exactly what happened to me and why I had missed a good handful of days since the beginning of school in 2024. So we started in August. Um, and just be transparent, not dramatic, but just be open as I always am with them. And like I tell them, right, I'm what you see is what you get with me, and it's to the best of your ability what I expect from you. Just be honest, be clear with yourself, and let's connect in a meaningful, honest way. So I explained that in August I discovered that I had an anomaly. They found an anomaly in my blood, in the PSA in particular. So that was kind of the direction to focus on. MRI with contrast. There was a lesion that lit up in the prostate. They did a biopsy, took samples, and lo and behold, found cancer. Originally, we had planned to postpone any surgery until the summertime, but my wife's family, they're all doctors, and then just my own mind thinking enough, but sometimes thinking too much. Sometimes I would sneeze. I'm like, oh crap! Is that the cancer? What's going on? And I just decided, you know what? Let's get this stuff out. And so, um, just before we went off to winter break, I had my surgery. Um, Again, thinking 2 weeks would be sufficient to heal and be able to get back. Needed a few more days, and that brought me to where I am. Right. So I talked about that quick process. Well, that process quickly, and shared with them how the 3 words on my board. I have a number of words on my board that I don't erase all year long, but 3 of them, attitude, perspective, and purpose, they're not just words. They were on my mind consciously throughout this process, leading up to it, throughout it, in its good moments and horrible moments of this journey that I've been experiencing. And implicitly, I just wanted to tell them, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like I'm not just pretending to have something important, and that's why they should come to class, do their homework, and pay attention. I really believe in this. I use it. It guides me. It helps create me. right? And just because I'm now 56, yesterday was my birthday. Yay. You don't stop learning. You don't stop growing, right? It because when you nestle into your box, into your little enclave of insulated bubbleness, and there's no more input other than that selective stream of information. I really think you start dying faster. You don't you're not growing anymore. And if you're not growing, then you're not living. So um to the creation of one's identity and persona, that's an ongoing process. For these kids, at such an important moment in their lives, it is a big threshold that they're leaving high school, which I think is the last bastion of kind of childhood, right? And you go into quote the real world, which is another term that annoys me. There's no more reality inside a high school campus than out, right? I think what we mean to say is you're moving out of an environment that is less coddling, less safe. You have fewer safety nets. Um, a, you don't have a team of people who literally are out to save you, to protect you, to guide you, from your teachers or counselors to the janitors to, staff at any level, rank, title, you name it. First and foremost, our function, our purpose to be there is to take care of the kids. Sometimes it's, psychologically, it's often for the most part it's academically, but it I would say maybe not so much the majority is academic. I would say it's just personally, right? Taking care of their person. Talked before about how, before I know what's on my agenda, what my objectives are for the class, but you read the room, and you feel the energy. And sometimes you can kind of move it to a different focus that's more aligned with the objectives that I've set forth. But often it's like, all right, you guys are dictating the energy, and we're just going to flow on your current, and that's fine. And it's that compromise of we can still address some of the things that I wanted to touch upon today, but maybe not all the things because there are different priorities going on, and it's what's on your mind. Where are you right now, emotionally, physically, uh, psychologically, etc. So I think the assignment was definitely relevant. Where think about it. Where are you going to be in 5 years? Some of the videos were just awesome. The how and the what were amazingly aligned, very creative, um, some decent editing skills, which is pretty easy to do today now with the phones and even the apps that are on them automatically. But um, they invariably, each person spoke, and some did it kind of like an interview dynamic. Others kind of did it like, this is me looking back on when I was 17, but now I'm 22 and this is where I am. Really cool stuff. And it really helped me get to know my kids even better. You're like, wow, I didn't realize you were interested in that. A lot of civic oriented professions, from nursing to I want to be an environmental engineer, to create things that are more efficient and safer for our planet, healthier. One young woman, she wants to delve into nutrition and kind of the science behind that, but in order to help our society eat better and understand the food better. And one day, maybe that would be cool. Have like a guest to talk about nutrition, because I know it personally on a very simplistic level, but The stuff in our US diet is not good for us, and I believe medicine is food, not in some hokey way, but we'll save that for another episode. So it was just awesome, watching these kids, the whole production. Um, invariably, they get the what I call the cringe effect, where they see themselves on the projected screen, and they're cringing, they're covering their eyes and, like, putting their heads down. I'm like, "Nah, no, 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 we're" so immediately, I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna work on this." I said, "That's what you look like. That's what you sound like." It's like, I've watched a couple of these episodes before I've posted them. I'm like, "Wow, I move my hands a lot." Gesticulate is the word. Um, it it's how I am. It's how people see me. It's how I communicate. It's how I teach, inside, outside of the house, there what you see is what you get. And yes, I wasn't always comfortable with that, but then I realized, but that's who you are. That's how you speak. That's your intonation. You look down a lot, and then you look up, you make eye contact after a while, sometimes not enough. Your hands are always out here somewhere. So I want them to get used to seeing themselves. So um, they did a semi-groan, but came up with a really easy way to embrace the awkward is one of the things that my kids have come to know and still dislike. If it's awkward, then it's probably because it's just some adversity that for whatever reason we've built up and we got to get through it. So being able to be comfortable speaking to other people, yeah, that's going to happen. And in fact, you need that to happen to be successful. We live in a society, right? Back to being locked down, shut down, right? I was going crazy. I needed to connect. And it was phenomenal through cooking, uh, just the comments, and I responded to every single person. I mean, it was like I'd have 50, 100 comments, and there'd be 100 to 200 responses, like, and it wasn't to follow, it wasn't for the double tap like, it was somebody's out there. Somebody's out there, and I created something that was fun. Personally, it was delicious and had fun editing and the voiceover and somebody liked it, right? I connected somehow, some way with someone in some part of the world. And I have friends, I guess online social media friends, all over the world. It, how beautiful is that? So I want my kids to get more comfortable with themselves. So the assignment once we kind of get back into rhythm, they're just going to put a camera in front of them and record themselves 40 to 45 seconds. And they can talk about whatever they want. It's irrelevant. And then we're going to watch it. So 45 seconds, I've got 35 ish, 34 kids as an average in every class, right? We can do that in one period. And it's just boom, 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 boom. Let's watch ourselves and not cower and cringe. We got no time for that. We've got no time for that. You're moving into the next stage of your life where, again, it's not the real world, it's the more independent world. You don't have the coddling, you don't have the safety nets, you don't have this team upon team upon team of people looking out for you, academically, personally, whatever. You got to look out for yourself. And the only way you're gonna effectively do that is by knowing yourself first, by having a grip on what are your core principles? What defines your character, right? It's not just what you're gonna be doing, it's who you wanna be based on, for the most part, who are you right now? So a lot of internalization, a lot of internal reflection, and man, these videos were terrific. And I told them, when you hear older generations, and I'm Gen X, um, but even older than me, just, oh my god, the youth of today, all they do is look at their phones and, they're lost in social media and that's our hope for the future. You have no freaking clue the youth of today, how they think, how they feel, what they're thinking, what they're able to do. Give me a break. So save your commentary, save your judgment. I think every generation passes down that pessimism, that fear, that kind of superiority. Oh, we're screwed. Um, Jesus, these kids, man, they are so freaking on it. I Gen Gen Z is a really cool generation. They're solid. They're very in tune with themselves, their emotional state. Um, I find my kids like ready, willing, and able to learn. They get excited about growth and learning. And I'm talking like academic stuff. Like no normal person gets excited about, wow, now I can write better. These kids are excited they can write better. These kids are excited they can get in front of the board, and turn around and speak to an audience of, 34 kids, peers, um, and can, present. So I'm excited about that 45-second, um, we'll call it the 45-second cringe video. Anyway, these videos were terrific. Really exciting to just see them in the 5 months we've been together start putting things together, right? Because I want them, like I told them, I have, I think, 181 days uh, with my kids to do a number of things, teach how to read better, write better, think more critically, things that they can apply no matter where they go. Learn how to become more independent, more autonomous, self-reliant, right? So they're relying on themselves first and foremost, and you can only do that if you know yourself, and you can only do that if you can trust yourself, right? So there's a lot of layers to the class in any one lesson, and I just love seeing that growth, right? It's more than just it's my job, it's my calling, and I believe it's their calling as well, that we come together with that purpose of I have some ideas to share, and if you're open-minded, then we grow together, we learn together, we are smarter today than we were yesterday. We're plus one, and that's just, God, such a satisfying feeling, and when they're aware of that, um, it's really exciting. It really is. So one group, a lot of groups talked about attitude, perspective, and purpose. Like they really understand it. It makes sense to them. They are aware of how to apply it. So I'm so excited for them to only be 17, 18 years old and understand these really pretty deep concepts and be able to apply them to their lives. Like, Jesus, what clarity at such a young age, right? It only bodes greater growth and to kind of it implies that learning curve on so many issues in their lives will just be less. It'll be, a bit smoother, less volatile and emotional because they'll hopefully respond more than they do react. So that's always exciting. And one group, what brought them all together with their thesis statement is they were all going to do different things. But what they realized behind all of their goals, whatever it was, whatever job they wanted to pursue, make money in addition, pursue more education, what have you, they realized that kind of the fuel to their individual rockets was this alignment of the attitude and perspective and purpose. And behind that was, or maybe aligned to that, was how these really form your character. right? It becomes part of your persona, your personality. So no matter where you go, what you do, you're applying the best attitude you can and being the most open-minded you can and being focused and directed and guided and pushed by yourself first and foremost um, towards goals, towards forward progress. And I loved the depth of that message. I loved how things are really resonating with them. I love how they're maturing. I mean, right before our eyes, and they're aware of it. They're conscious of it. Like, how exciting is that? So it was a great couple of days back. And Friday was my birthday. So on Thursday, I told him, furthermore, it's already Friday tomorrow and it's my birthday. So we're going to celebrate. And one student, she comes in at lunch, says, Mrs. Spurley, I'm kidnapping you. I'm sorry, what? So we start walking down, and I said, "Where are we going?" She's like, "I can't tell you." Are we? What are we doing? I can't tell you. So walk, 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 walk. Take a left down the wing furthest from my wing of classes, and I hear the shh, 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 shh. And before I know it, we walk into the classroom of another teacher, and all well, all my students have they're throwing me a birthday prize surprise party. They had cake, they had, streamers, they had a huge poster. Um, I mean, it was so freaking sweet. It was so, like, meaningful. It just you know when kids rally together to do something like that, that they really care for you, and that just touches me so deeply in my heart, and I appreciate those kind of things. Again, it's back to the connection, and it's one of the things I absolutely love about my job. It's one of the things I love about my kids. They're sweet, good people, and I think in part just knowing that I've kind of been struggling but never wanted to show it in front of them over these months and didn't, um, but was also very comfortable, right, with my family, my circle of kids, to share my experience, and then be stoked. It's my birthday. They really went out of their way to really make me feel wonderful. So if any of you guys are watching, love y'all. Really, really appreciated it. Continue to appreciate it. I've shared. I took a little video. Maybe we'll splice it in here. Um, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. So thank you. So those are some of the joys. I mean, that's the flip end of teaching, right? When you're able to be successful and connect with your kids, and just it I think it pulls out the best of all of us, and we get to celebrate together. We get to just enjoy life together for these 181 days that we get in a year. And seeing their growth really excites me and makes me so proud of who they are. So kudos to all of you guys. You keep it up. And to everybody else, think about that. I guess, in 5 years, where would you like to be? How old are you now? And it's not rocket science. It's not a mystery. We have certain stages in our lives, and I'm coming up on one. I'm looking at retirement in 4 years. So then what? I'll be 60 years old. I got a good chunk of change of life in me, and years ahead of me. So, then what? What's the Jonathan of today gonna what baton is the Jonathan of today gonna pass to the Jonathan in 4 years? And I guess in a way I've got 4 years to figure it out and prepare for that. Maybe this is it, right? Maybe in 4 years I'm Blockbuster and they've replaced the real books for green screen books and a neon sign, who knows? But, having fun along the way, I think is a big part of it. But definitely having an eye on some prize in the future is a smart way to live your life. Don't need to stick to it. Paths change, as I explained to my kids. A lot of adults are going to ask, "So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna major in?" And whether you know or not, there is no pressure and there's no right or wrong. It's just as you can't fail if even if you take the wrong path, that is a path that you thought was going to work out and it just wasn't like, oh, I thought that major was going to be interesting and it's not. You made no mistake. You didn't waste time because you came to a realization. You learned something. So as long as you keep learning, you never fail. As long as you keep learning, you never fail. You just find clarity. You're like, okay, that's not the path. And I'm gonna shift to a different thing. That's awesome. You keep moving forward. I mean, it's we got one life. That's it. So you make as many days count and you keep that open-minded mentality of every day's a possibility to plus one, to be smarter today than yesterday. And I'm going to do this because it feels right. I think it's the right direction for me, and there are detours and speed bumps along the way. But those are the kind of those the vicissitudes of life again. And being okay with that, I think, is just being okay with yourself that you got this. You got this. No matter where you're going, you're going to get there one way or the other. So, want to share that experience and goal setting. It's a good thing to just put some markers on the map and get a sense of where you are and where you might want to be in a certain period of time. I think it's a prudent kind of way to not figure your life out, but put a tentative blueprint down and see what it looks like as you get there. So think about it. Give me your comments and take care.